this is what happens in 7th chapter. Krishna describes who he is, and then he explains that there, as a reaction to this knowledge, there will be two types of people. There will be two distinct reactions. In the previous verse, Krishna described the four types of impious people, those who never surrender to Krishna. So this is one reaction. Just like in Bhagavad Gita in 11th chapter, Krishna displays his universal form. You remember this? That means Krishna because before that Krishna explains, I am everywhere, I am all pervading. Arjuna asks, so how is this possible? Can you explain? How are you all pervading? How are you everywhere? Vishnu means, or Vasudeva means all pervading. And then Krishna explains, yes, I am the light of the sun and the moon. I'm the original fragrance of the earth. I'm the strength of the strong. I'm the sex life which doesn't contradict the religious principles. All wonderful manifestations in this universe are just a spark of my opulence. And then Arjuna says, okay, I accept this. Could you please show me? I want to see with my own eyes. How is this working? And then Krishna gives him divine eyes, and then Arjuna sees the universal form of the Lord. And then Arjuna sees how different living entities in the universe, they react to this universal form. And he sees how the great sages, the demigods, they offer prayers to the Lord. And he sees how the demons, they are afraid and they're fleeing here and there. It's too much for them. They don't like this form. They don't like to see how God is all powerful. So the same thing happens in 7th chapter when Krishna describes himself. Then he says there are two types of people. Those who, when they hear about my glory, they are spontaneously envious. They don't want to, they never surrender to me. Who are those? There are four categories of those. You remember? Those who never surrender to Krishna. Those are the mudha. Mudha means very foolish people who are just like animals. They work hard day and night for material profit. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of the donkey, the ass. He works very hard just for a little grass, which is everywhere available. So we shouldn't become like donkeys. In this busy city of New York, there are many donkeys. Predominantly when you go out on the street, you see this type of people. And there are some donkey managers, they manage the donkeys. Basically that's what you see. Very few Vaishyas and lots of Shudras. Although they're very puffed up, especially here in Manhattan, but they're just high-class Shudras and low-class Vaishyas. So the first type that never surrenders are the Mudas. They don't have time for spirituality. Then you have Naradama. Naradama means the lowest of mankind. The Mudas don't have capacity to understand God. They just don't have the intelligence. The Naradamas, they do. They could understand Krishna. And they have encountered Krishna consciousness, but they have rejected it. Therefore they are the lowest among mankind. Because the Mudas, they just don't have the means to understand. But these guys, they do. They have the opportunity, and they said, no, I don't want this. So therefore they are the lowest. And then you have Maya Pakita Jnana. Those are very learned fellows, scientists, intellectuals, Indologists, but atheistic people who don't believe in Krishna. They think Krishna is just a mythology or some powerful person. And their so-called knowledge, they may be very knowledgeable in certain field, but all this knowledge is stolen away by Maya, because at the end of life, when they leave this body, they'll have to take again material birth. So all this knowledge is of no avail for them. They have to lose everything and start from animal kingdom if they're very sinful. And then the last is asura. Asura means demon. They are openly, militantly against God. Whenever there is even mentioning of God, they have to say something against. Like this famous atheist Dawkins, he wrote the book, The God Delusion. It's old book now, it's outdated. I think there are newer books on this topic. The God Delusion. And this title of the book very nicely describes Dawkins himself, because he is under the illusion that he is God. Because demons, they don't just reject God, they want to put themselves in the place of God. This is what is in the back of their mind, or not just in the back, in the forefront. They want to be the controller and the enjoyer. So these are the 4 types of impious people that will never surrender. And now in this verse, Krishna describes the good guys. So these are the bad guys, now the good guys. The good guys are those who will surrender to Krishna. And they have opportunity to surrender. And amongst them, the first category is the Jana Sukriti Arjuna, Arto. Arto means Hare Krishna, the distressed, the person, Hare Krishna, who is in pain, is suffering. Of course, we all suffer in the material world, but these people, they really feel it and they need help. And they're pious enough to understand that only God can help them, and they turn to God for help. This is, as Srila Prabhupada explains, not the purest of all motivations, but they're still magnanimous souls because they know who is the big boss and who is their best friend, and they go to him. They don't go to some demigods, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Vayu. They don't go to some powerful human being or a demon. They don't worship ghosts, and they don't try to get rid of suffering by their own endeavors. They turn to God. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says that I appreciate, I love all of these people. Although their motivation may not be completely pure, they want something in return, but still they're very dear to me because they come to me out of love. And I like to give what they want from me. And I'm giving things that they're praying for. Krishna says very interestingly, they're praying for things that I already have decided to give them. Because I know their hearts. I know, even without them articulating clearly their desires, I'm in the heart of everyone. And I know their desires. So I was about to give already, but now that they're praying, I will definitely give. In my own way, of course. Krishna he knows how to give mercy to everyone. And then this is the first category. Usually this is the most common category. When we give lectures to many devotees, and then we ask, so there are 4 categories: the distressed, the one who desires money, the one who is inquisitive, and the one who is searching after the absolute. So which category do you belong to? And usually, most of the time, most of the devotees, they belong to the first category, including me, the distressed one. Too much suffering, you need some relief, therefore you turn to God. And Srila Prabhupada explains sometimes that these material hardships are indirect reminders sent by God to remind us that we are incompatible with matter, that material world is not our natural habitat. We don't belong here. And when I was young, I read a story about some group of good knights. They were crossing a dark, dangerous forest, and one of them somehow or other got separated from friends, and he got lost. And his friends, very worried, they were searching for him. For a long time they couldn't find him. And then, very grieved, very sad, they continued on their way, mourning him as dead. They thought he perished. This knight didn't die. He was wandering for a long time, for many days in this forest, enduring severe hardships. And when he was at the end of his strength, he reached some special place in the forest, like a small
Field.
field in the forest. And there he saw amazing, very spiritually enlivening scene. And he got guidance from above, and he found his way, and he found his friends, and then he told them that he was so happy that he had to go through all these hardships, because of this suffering. Then he found this spiritual revelation. I mean, what is this revelation? The story says one shouldn't talk about this. And this is what the impersonalists, they always say, because they don't know ultimately who God is. So therefore, when they're supposed to deliver the knowledge about Krishna, they say, no, we're not supposed to. The words cannot describe him, and it's not even him, it's it, Brahman. But anyway, the point is that sufferings, sometimes they have, always they have good cause, and they are bringing us closer to God. And also there are examples for great devotees who were in this category. Have you heard about Gajendra? The story about Gajendra?
No.
Gajendra was the king of the elephants. Gaja Indra. A, E, it's Sandhya, becomes E. No, I-E becomes, anyway. So Gajendra one day went into in a jungle, in a beautiful lake or river, and he was bathing with his friends and his wives. Then a crocodile bit him and tried to pull him in the water and to drown him and to kill him. And Gajendra was a very strong elephant, and he fought for a long time, and his friends tried to help him, but gradually he weakened, he lost his strength, because the crocodile was in his natural element, the water, and Gajendra was outside his natural element. He was in the water, and gradually he lost strength. And then he understood, he realized, I cannot save myself, nobody can help me, only Krishna can help me. And because in the previous life he was king, I think his name was Indradyumna, and as a king, he memorized very nice prayer to Krishna. So somehow this prayer, in this moment of need, urgency, surfaced his consciousness. And as elephant, he remembered the prayer, and he chanted this prayer, somehow or other, miraculously. He caught the attention of Krishna because he was very sincere. Just like a Jamila, when he called out the name of his son, Narayana, he didn't mean to call the Lord, but the Lord reciprocated. Because in his helpless condition, when somebody calls your name for help, then you must respond. And Krishna responded. Krishna came to save Gajendra, and Krishna was so much in a hurry that he was on the back of Garuda, and Garuda is super fast. He's the carrier of Vishnu. Krishna thought Garuda is too slow. He's very slow. I need to go faster. So he jumped. He jumped from the back of Garuda, and he, with even faster speed, he went to the scene, and then he gave liberation to this crocodile. Crocodile went back home to Godhead, and then he saved Gajendra. So this is an example of devotee who turned to God in an hour of need, and he attained Vaikuntha, Gajendra. So then the next category is the inquisitive devotee, the inquisitive person who is very curious about God. He wants knowledge. He wants to know. He will worship God, but he wants something in return. In European literature, we have this famous German author Goethe. He wrote a drama called Faust. Dr. Faust, he was also looking for knowledge, but strangely enough, he didn't turn to God, he turned to the Satan. I don't know why they have to do this in Europe. You know, it's like always some perversion. Why on earth you would go to the enemy of God for knowledge? Anyway, of course, God, there is no enemy of God. God doesn't have enemies. This is another speculation of the Western thought. They think that there is a kind of as a good God and a bad God, and they're always fighting. No. Krishna is Deva Deva. Ekare Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabhabritya. There is only one God, and every Krishna and all others are Krishna's servants. There is no competitor of God. So this is the second category, and the third category is the people who want money. They are very, very rajasic. They want to attain high status in society, but again, they are very intelligent and clever, and they know if I want to attain this, I have to worship God. And there is also example of this. The great king Dhruva Maharaj, who, when he was very small, 5 years old, he wants to climb up on the lap of his father, King Kutanapala, but then his mother, his stepmother, who happened to be the favorite queen of the king, she forbade him. She told him, "No, my dear boy, you cannot do that. If you want to sit on the lap of your father, first you have to die, then you have to take birth from my womb. And then once you are my son and I am the favorite queen, then only you can sit on the lap of your father." This reminds me about the people who they call caste Goswamis. They think that unless you are born in a specific family, in a specific race, like for example in India, you cannot be admitted into the realm of devotional service. Right now, if you go in Jagannath Puri and you want to enter the temple of Jagannath, they won't let you if you are not Hindu. Once I was there, that's a bodily conception of life. So once we were there with some friends, and of course we didn't even try to enter because we know we're not allowed. We are on the top of a building next to the temple where we're having nice view and enjoying the temple and taking some pictures. So then some Indians, but from America, came, and we chatted with them, and they told us, yeah, we didn't enter the temple, although we could. And we were curious. We want to get in, but they don't let us. And these people, they have access, and they prefer not to. Why on earth you will not want to go inside the temple? We asked them, and they said, no, because they wanted us to take out our shoes and socks, and we don't like this. And that's why they didn't enter the temple. And these people, they deem these people, the local pandas, they deem these people worthy and qualified to enter, but not us. who are worshipping Lord Jagannath since some years. Anyway, so then Dhruva Maharaj became very offended because the Kshatriyas, they have hot blood, they have hot temper, and he went to his mother and he cried and he shared, he explained what happened, and then the mother became naturally also very emotional, very disturbed, and she told him honestly, straight. She was straightforward. She said, nothing I can do to help you because I'm out of grace. Your father will not listen to me. But there is one person who can help, and this is Krishna. So if you want help, you go to him. I heard from the sages he lives in the forest. So you go to the forest, stay there, and you see him. And then Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest, 5 years old. He performed such a severe tapasya, and he was so focused, following the orders of his guru, Narada Muni, that in no time, very short time, I think 6 months, was it 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
For 6 months he was able to see Krishna. Krishna came to see him. And when this happened, then Dhruva Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj wanted his goal, why he went there in the forest, why he wanted to please the Lord, because he wanted a kingdom greater than the kingdom of his father and grandfather. He wanted a revenge. He wanted to show that I'm not a person to be dealt with like this. So he had material desire. He wanted wealth. But then he didn't start business. He didn't make some politics. He just went to the forest and worshipped the Lord. And he had firm faith that just by worshipping the Lord, all my desires will be fulfilled, even the material desires, if I have such desires. And then Krishna came, and when he saw Krishna, then Dhruva Maharaj understood this was completely useless desire I had. Now I saw the Lord, and this is the greatest reward. I don't need anything material. And he felt very sorry that he had this desire, that he worshipped the Lord with such motivation. And as Srila Prabhupada writes in the purports, if we also worship the Lord with material motivation, we'll also feel very sorry. So better avoid it. And then Dhruva Maharaj said, I don't want anything material from you, my dear Lord. I was foolish to harbor such desires. And the Lord told him, no, I'll fulfill your desire. You wanted this, I'll do it for you. And then Dhruva Maharaj said, no, but if you fulfill my material desire, you will not give me prema, love for God. And then Krishna said, no, I will give you both. I will give you prema, and I'll fulfill your material desires. Everything will be fine. So this is an example of the third category. And the person who wants material wealth from Krishna. And then there is the fourth category, the jnani, who is searching for knowledge of the absolute. So this person, he doesn't want anything material from God, from Krishna. He's a pure devotee of Krishna. The first three are materially motivated. The jnani is non-motivated. He doesn't even want liberation from the Lord. Therefore, Krishna says, he's priyo hi jnanam tarta. He is very, very dear to me, and I consider him to be as my own self. So why then he's called jnani and not a bhakta? Usually this word for us has little negative connotation. Jnani is just some sage who doesn't worship the Lord with pure love. He wants liberation. He wants to merge with the Lord, impersonalism. And the Acharyas explained that his jnani in name only is actually bhakta. But his approach, his love for God is a kind of shanta, in the shanta rasa. He just prefers to contemplate the beauty of the Lord in his mind. He's not so inclined to render active devotional service to the Lord. So therefore he is called Gyani. Not because he has some desire for liberation or he wants to merge with the Lord. And the pure unalloyed devotees, he is pure devotee, but the pure unalloyed devotees, they don't have this mood. They are ready to do anything for Krishna. They can meditate if Krishna likes this, or they can render active service. Just like if a friend comes to your house and then, let's say you're a little hungry, or you go to his house and then you say, could you please cook something? I'm really hungry. And then your friend tells you, sorry, I'm not a good cook. I can make some music for you. I'm a good musician. I can paint something. What else? I can, here's the remote on the TV. I can do something for, but don't ask me to cook. I'm not cook. It's not my thing. So we wouldn't say that this is like the greatest friend, right? Because he has some boundaries. He prefers to do things according to his own taste. He'll do it, but according to his own desire. And the pure unalloyed devotees, they're not like this. They are ready to do anything for Krishna. Whatever Krishna wants, they will do. So this is the difference. And how are now these motivated devotees? The first one, the Artha, who is suffering, who wants to get relief from his suffering, and the one who wants money, how are they going to be purified from their material desires? The acharyas explain that they have to become jigyasu, or they have to become inquisitive. So therefore, if you notice in this verse, it says Artu jigyasur artarti. Artu is the one who is in suffering, Jigyasu is the inquisitive one, and artarti is the one who wants money. So Jigyasu is placed in between Arto and Artarti, because both Arto and Artarti, they have to become Jigyasu. They have to become inquisitive about Krishna. Then they can advance. If they don't become inquisitive, if they don't become interested in Krishna, to know more about Krishna, then most probably they will leave devotional service after Krishna fulfills their desires. Because there will be nothing to keep them in contact with Krishna, because they don't know Krishna. When you become inquisitive and ask about Krishna, then you learn about Krishna, and then you become attracted to Krishna. Because Krishna is the most attractive person. He has wonderful qualities. But if you don't know these qualities, then you cannot develop your affection for Krishna. Then you don't know. So you just ask something, because he's the provider, the great God, provider of everything. He fulfills your desire, and you go, thank you very much, and go home. Because you're not attracted to Krishna. You don't like him, actually. He's just God, the Almighty. But you don't really have a connection with him, personal connection. But when you become inquisitive, you develop knowledge about Krishna, you develop knowledge about his wonderful qualities, then you'll be attracted by these qualities. Krishna, he is pleased even by show of devotion. This is one of his extraordinary qualities. And the example is Putana, the witch who wanted to kill Krishna. She was not really a devotee, but she pretended to be a devotee. And then Krishna was very happy with her. Aho bakiyam stanakala kutam jigyasaya prayatapya sadvi lebe gatri uchitam tatom yat kam vadayarum sharanam brajema. Who can be more merciful than Krishna, who awarded position of his mother in the spiritual world to a she-demon who was unfaithful? That means she pretended that she is a devotee. She was not. She wanted to kill Krishna. And who can be more merciful than Krishna? Where I should take shelter? Krishna is the most merciful. So we learn about these wonderful qualities of Krishna, then we'll become attracted, and then this will save us from Maya. Otherwise, if we just perform a ritual, worship, then it's a matter of time when we fall down. Because if you notice these rituals and this, when you perform some religious activities out of duty, without putting your heart in it, without actually liking it, then you're just counting the, okay, when this will be over, I wanna go to do the things that are really making me happy. And these are Maya illusory things, simple activities usually. So if we just worship God by routine, formally, then we cannot advance. It will remain for us boring routine. Some tradition that came from our parents, or we don't really know why we're doing it, we don't really want to do it, we'd rather be somewhere else with some other people, but we're doing it. How long we can do this? Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, what can repression accomplish? Just by repressing our desires, we cannot actually win this war. We have to change the nature of our desires, purify them by devotional service.